My wife is cheating on me. And she has been for the past 2 months. I just don't understand. I don't even know where to start to begin to understand. We have a beautiful home, stable careers, we're not financially struggling, no drug or alcohol abuse, we attend therapy together. Our daughter is healthy, perfect. Our 6-year wedding anniversary is 3 months from tomorrow. We've been together 11 years. I have spent the last 2 days examining everything about us under a microscope, trying to find a crack. Where I went wrong, when did she become unhappy, when did this life, our life, become unsatisfactory for her? For her to step outside of our marriage with some random guy she met on Facebook? For her to throw our family away? I just don't understand. I found out on Monday, completely by chance. My daughter's tablet was dead. I grabbed my wife's iPad so she could watch her nighttime videos and go to sleep. Wife isn't home right now, she's on a trip and won't be back for another 4 days. I keep hearing message notifications dinging on her iPad while my daughter has it, so I took it to turn it on silent only to see a man's name I didn't recognize with a little winky face next to it. I went through everything. They've done it all, met up, spent the night together, went on dates, they even have a romantic cruise planned for next month. The same cruise she told me was a bachelorette trip with one of her friends. All of these outings that I encouraged. She told me they were with friends, I encouraged her. I was so proud she was getting out there and becoming more social, since she expressed motherhood made her feel like a recluse. And after digging a little deeper, all of these new friends she's been out with don't even exist. All lies. They are characters she's created to continue her relationship with this man. I feel like a complete and total idiot. I never second-guessed a lie she fed me. I gave her my 100% trust. We've been doing couples therapy for a year, we communicate, we go on dates, we get each other gifts, our sex life was great, I never not even for a second would have suspected this. I don't know how to confront her with this, I don't want this. I don't want to split up our home. But I know that this isn't something therapy can fix, I know myself well enough to know I'll never be able to trust her again. Do I just let go? Let her go be with this man who clearly makes her happier than I can? My entire existence is intertwined with her, how do I even begin to untangle that and separate? I have 4 more days to sit and overthink this. I genuinely don't know what to do. Update. I gathered up all evidence and contacted lawyers in my area. I found a really great one and went ahead and started on divorce papers before my wife got home. I also got tested for any STIs and told my parents/best friend about the situation. I took my daughter to my parents so I could have the alone time to mentally prepare myself to face my wife with this discovery. I rage cleaned a lot and cried a lot those last 2 days before she got back. I packed some of her stuff, but then unpacked it and cried more. I had it planned to lay out all the screenshots along with divorce papers on our dining room table and just sit and wait for her, but I didn't get the chance to do that. She was supposed to get home later in the afternoon on Sunday, but she ended up getting back around 6:30 that morning. She didn't call or text in hopes of surprising me. I was up drinking coffee, and you guessed it, crying, when she walked into the house. I didn't greet her, I just went and got the folders of evidence and divorce papers and gave them to her. I don't remember anything she said that day, but I just said I knew, I wanted a divorce, and I would keep the house as it was in my name solely. It hurt a lot, I wanted to hug her, but also scream at her. Lots of tears from her, lots of yelling at me, I didn't say anything. I told her we could discuss it at length with lawyers present once she accepted the situation and calmed down. I think someone called it gray wall in the comments of my last post, not entirely sure, but I tried my best to do that and not show emotion/argue with her. It was really hard, hardest thing I hope I'll ever have to do. She betrayed me, but I still felt awful making her cry. She left that day with some clothes/personal belongings and went to her parents, and my parents and best friend came to stay with me and my daughter. I had my lawyer arrange a meeting between us to discuss custody/belongings/money/everything else that following Tuesday. Well, Monday I got a call from my clinic to come in to review results of STI tests, and as it turns out her parting gift to me is HSV-2. I cannot describe in words how angry, sad, shattered I am. I'm still accepting it. I don't think I have yet, but I am working on it. I know it's common, very common, it's not going to kill me, but it doesn't make it suck any less. I joined a support group on Facebook, those people are great. Going into Tuesday with that knowledge was awful. I felt so much shame bringing that up in front of not only her, but both of our lawyers. I knew if I tried to discuss it with her privately it wouldn't go well, not with the amount of anger/sadness I had in my system. She never apologized, she was a different person that day. I felt like I was looking into the eyes of a complete stranger, no emotion whatsoever. Divorce-wise everything is cut and dry. We separated finances, the house is mine, we are just waiting the 90 days for it to finalize. There were no objections on her end but one, she wants to terminate her parental rights over our daughter. I say wants, she is terminating rights, at least trying to. She doesn't want her anymore. Our daughter, our baby. I was fucking blindsided. I'm still blindsided. My daughter is one, but she loves her mama. Mama was her first word. She is one. It's been 3 weeks, and the pain I have felt, the pain for my daughter, for my family, has been indescribable. I don't know who she is anymore, I don't know what changed or when it changed, but it terrifies me. I feel like my entire life was pulled out from under me. I haven't talked to her, per lawyer's advice and my own fear of what I would say. She hasn't seen our daughter, she told me that day she didn't want to. She didn't want any pictures from our home, any memories. Just her clothes and electronics. I don't understand any of it, I don't think I ever will. We have to go to court for her petition to terminate rights, and I don't want to look at her. I just can't accept this as reality right now, not after everything. I'm trying as hard as I possibly can to keep a positive outlook on everything and be strong for my family and my baby, but this has been so hard. I hope a year from now I can look back and say I survived that, but right now it feels impossible to even see next week. I'm not suicidal, so don't take it as that, I'm just emotionally, mentally, physically demolished. Absolutely demolished.
So you got the house, your daughter and supportive family and friends plus get rid of a cheating wife full of disease. It seems like a pretty good deal to me.
Story 2. Husband of almost 10 years had a 3-month affair. I cannot believe I am living this nightmare. I, 33F, found out my husband, 40M, was having a 3-month-long affair the night of the 40th birthday I threw for him 13 days ago. The AP is 40F with kids. My husband and I have 1 child. We've been together for 14 years and married for almost 10. It sounds crazy, but he is the last person you'd ever expect to do this. I was the only clueless idiot that thought my marriage was great. I genuinely thought we had that kind of bond that other people envied. I am not a perfect person by any means, but I am a damn good wife. I make a great living, cook meals 5 nights per week, encourage him to spend time alone and with just friends or doing hobbies he enjoys. We had a good sex life, we have a funny banter and wit. I was just coasting through life and the rug was pulled out from underneath me with no warning or consent. I feel like I'm swimming in a tank with no ladder or life ring, and I'm treading water in an endless nightmare. I found hundreds of emails where they told each other that they married the wrong person, that their bond was immediate and they knew each other was the one. They emailed sex positions they wanted to try, messages about when myself or her husband would be at work so they could meet, and even messages about my daughter's birthday party. 2 days before D-Day he told her that he couldn't wait to experience life with her. They talked of bringing kids to baseball practice and working on school projects together with kids. After confronting him when I found the emails, he is remorseful and wants to be with me. He said their messages were just talk and it was all fantasy. BULLSH*T. I am so hurt. He's crying and remorseful, going to therapy with me, and doing all the things the therapist says. I told him I would give him a chance, but how can I ever look at him the same way? My life has been turned upside down. He was my partner, my husband, my hero. I guess I am ranting, but I also just need advice and a damn hug. I feel like I owe it to the 14 years of good times to try to make this work, and I know eventually the anger and sting will fade, but how can I stay with someone who did this to me? I keep coming back to a few things. He'd still be doing it if I didn't catch him. How is he suddenly over her? How am I suddenly the right one for him, and can I ever trust him again? Update. I discovered the affair 8 weeks ago. He claimed the horrible things he said about me and the ways he felt for her were all part of a fantasy, etc., and wanted to reconcile. I told him no more contact with her or I was done, but he called my bluff. He met up with her for closure and lied. He moved out the next morning and I filed for divorce last week. I deserve better. I will not ever be someone's second choice. Anyone who could watch me writhing in pain the last several weeks and contact their AP, meet up with them, and lie about it is just morally bankrupt. No amount of time or counseling can ever change my mind. We amicably agreed on division of assets and custody, but I am struggling with so much these last few days. For some reason, it feels as though the affair is so fresh. The inadequacy is crippling right now. How could my sweet, strong husband do this to me and our life? We had such a wonderful thing. I am so angry that he took my life and my security. I miss being my normal happy self. Why her? Why not me? I am letting him come over for dinner to see our child every night and he takes her every morning to daycare. Part of me thinks that's the problem. I want to start moving on. He thinks that we will get back together again someday and his sense of entitlement makes me sick. I just miss comfort, passion, security, and happiness. Now I get my child half the time because he was a weak, entitled jerk. Update 2. D-Day was in August and my divorce is final next week. I am really struggling with the holidays right now. Yesterday I packed moving boxes of my soon-to-be ex-husband's things and started packing up half of my daughter's things. I got very drunk and called the AP and left her the most horrible voicemail and texted her some terrible things too. I sent screenshots of the messages she sent to my husband and told her to never forget what she is capable of and that she's so woefully ordinary. I've contacted her 3 times since this started, once on D-Day, once when I found out they met up again, and last night. The first 2 were warranted but last night wasn't necessarily. I was upset that she has no consequences. Her family is intact. I deleted her contact info from my phone last night. I feel awful and humiliated today because it isn't my personality to lash out. I'm just really hurting that my life as I knew it is over. I am going to stop drinking for a while because I need to heal in better ways. I am usually so strong but the holidays are making it worse. I just wish cheaters could feel our pain for even a split second. 2 years later, an update. Since my divorce I have gotten a huge promotion at work, traveled solo to a foreign country, marked something off of my bucket list, sold my house, and bought a new one. I took the most painful thing in my life and used it as a license to live my life to the fullest. For anyone going through infidelity, please remember that the best revenge is a life well lived. My ex-husband continues to co-parent decently well, but lie to my face. I found out through the OBS that my ex-husband and the mistress were dating in March. They have a contentious divorce that is taking quite a while, but he and I are still close. A few people sent messages asking if the OBS and I would get together. It was discussed and laughed about, but we are just great friends. I don't care who my ex-husband dates, but we had an agreement that we would let the other party know if we were to introduce our daughter to someone. I was hoping that if he was going to be with the other woman, they would at least give it some time to see if they could have a real relationship and going on dates before introducing kids. However, they immediately began introducing our children to one another, and essentially just created a whole brand new family, without giving me a heads up. I had suspicions that he and his mistress were having a baby and he lied to my face. She's due in 4 weeks. I think that's the part of this that hurts so much still. My ex-husband and I went through infertility issues, having 3 miscarriages. But now the 2 of them have replaced their families to build this new one with seemingly no consequences. They just got to live out all the bullcrap they wrote in their messages. It isn't even that I want them to fail. I just have that nagging voice saying, that's not fair when I think about how they're just living life. I have had to cut off some friends who have hung out with my ex-husband and the mistress. I'm very black and white about it. Accepting them as a couple is a direct betrayal to me. I view it as supporting 2 people who took my daughter away from me half of the time. It sounds harsh, but it's just the way I have to heal. I never had an argument or exchanged cross words. I just blocked and ignored. They know why I did it and it's fine with me. My daughter loves the other woman and her children. I want that, as difficult as it is. I want her to feel included, loved, and cared for when I am not with her, but it sucks that it is with the other woman. My daughter is excited to be a big sister, so I take that angry part of me and push it down, encouraging her that she's going to be the best big sister ever. It isn't easy, but it's the right thing to do. Someday she will know the truth, and I hope she's able to look back and see all that I shouldered to ensure she had a loving childhood. Co-parenting is going as well as it can. I don't have to see him or the other woman often, and we have 50-50 custody. Christmas was difficult, but I made it. I was okay. Infidelity is odd like that. Some days you don't even think about it, and some days the slightest thing reminds you of a message you saw on your spouse's phone, or a phrase they said to each other, and then you just think, how the hell did I get here? I do that a lot. I'm dating a really great guy, but he's 7 years younger than I am. I think there are long-term incompatibilities, but it's really nice to be cared for and treated well. I've been very clear that being married again isn't part of what I see for myself, and ultimately I think that might be a deal breaker for him. He's also got a little bit of growing up to do, but I suppose that's all of us. He's encouraging and supportive, and has been very understanding about dating someone who has been through a massive betrayal. Lastly, I want to encourage a few things. The first is that no matter what happens to you, what job you have, who loves or doesn't love you, you are worthy of love and whole on your own. You deserve so much more than someone betraying you. I acted very swiftly in my divorce and left 6 weeks after D-Day. Not everyone has that option, but please know your worth. I'd also like to encourage some honest communication. My boyfriend and I have check-ins and discuss times we might have not felt love or what we need more/less of. It's elementary, but I often wonder where my marriage would be had my ex-husband and I both had the courage to just be honest with one another.
I'm so glad that you're healing and moving on. I know that his marriage and baby are causing you pain, but he is AP's problem now. He only ended up with her BC, you ended it with him. His new relationship will not be a good one. He'll eventually cheat on her too. He never worked on himself through therapy, so he's still broken. Just be glad that he's now somebody else's problem.